To start with, I'm extremely delighted to be in front of you, all project management professionals, to give a keynote on project management and on this project. And also let me thank the Institute for giving me such an opportunity. So first of all, I would like to say thanks to Mr. Raj Kalani, President and Managing Director PMI India, Mr. Jayakumar, PMI Kerala, Mr. Conference Director, Mr. Jayakumar, other distinguished dignitaries, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear friends. As I'm not a specialist in project management, but to talk something about project management, let me put in simple terms that project management is an organized approach to do work. The project management activities and practices have been evolved over a period of time, and through sharing of practices, through sharing of experiences, innovative technologies, and introduction of new tools for project management. Today, in a world of stiff competition and market innovation, the execution of projects are becoming complex every day. And complexity is mainly due to the need for varied inputs to tackle this project in terms of skills required, technology, then skills and involvement of several agencies, and the need to involve several agencies in this matter. Therefore, all major projects nowadays require a multidisciplinary approach, which require multicultural teams and inter-domain skills. Complexity is a challenge, but building a major infrastructure project is a much bigger challenge. And Vizhinjam Port is nothing, not a simple project, I would say. So before coming to getting into the real project presentation, let me take you through a few slides to take you how India would be a few years from now, that is 30 years from now, and then come back to where we stand now, and then I go to the project. So there is no doubt that the future is here for India. And I'm going to the year 2050. India, these are only my aspirations, and just purely personal. And by 2050, I would say that India would be a superpower, which accounts for 25% of the GDP of 9 developed nations in the world. And come to January India 2030, Indians would reach every corner of the world, be it services, manufacturing, engineering, IT, and biotech, finance, retail, or banking. We would have reached by 2030 every part of the world, every nook and corner of the world. And by 2025, I'm slightly over ambitious. Microsoft shifts its headquarters to India, and most of the people here are IT professionals, so I wouldn't like to dispute on it. And India becomes the financial hub of the world and the largest R&D center of the world. And coming to 2020, we'll be the third largest economy in the world, and now India is in the 7th position. So after US, China, India will be occupying the 3rd position by 2020. And majority of the Fortune 500 companies will have operations in India. This is what Albert Einstein had to say on India. And where are we now? India 2017. We are the largest resource of very young people under the age of 25. The largest service provider of the world, the largest knowledge center of the world, and there are more engineers and technicians in the in Bangalore and Silicon Valley, and on purchasing power parity, India is the third largest economy behind US and China. So it's a truly fascinating India. And if you see South India, it's much more fascinating. IT boom has already converted Bangalore into an international city. Chennai has become the Detroit of India with a lot of automobile production companies. And Tirupati is one of the richest temples in the world. And Kerala is already a God's own country. And the largest contribution of revenue from the 4 southern states to the country is from the South India. So it's even very fascinating. And with Vizhinjam becoming the country's container transshipment, I don't have words to say about it. So now let's see what the ports have to do. And if you look at India with just 18% of the world population handles a minuscule 1% of the world cargo. And that itself is quite a significant volume which our ports are not able to cope up with. And India, the annual foreign trade of India is of the order of 718 billion. I think this number has surpassed. And if you look at this foreign trade to happen, Indian ports have the major responsibility to handle or to handle this trade volumes. And this is the Indian port scenario, current port scenario. The exim trade, if you look at the exim trade, 95% of the total cargo is handled or is done through sea, which constitutes 70% of by value in terms of monetary value. And we have a very long coastline of 7,500 and odd kilometers, which is studded with about 12 major ports and about 200 minor and intermediate ports, of which only 141 are operable ports. Here the major ports and minor ports, the difference is not in terms of size, but the way in which the controls are effected. Major ports come under the direct control of Government of India, Ministry of Shipping, and minor and intermediate ports come under the state governments, respective maritime state governments. And I have the figures for the total cargo handled in 2015-16. The major ports and non-major ports put together have handled about 1.1 billion metric tons, whereas the port capacity was 1.5 billion tons. And by 2020, it's expected to touch a very high figure. Actually, the major ports and major non-major ports would contribute 1.2 billion tons each. And the additional port capacity required, if you look at the port capacity existing, we may need more than 900 million tons, which would be effected through the development of Vizhinjam port and so many other ports coming in the country. And the main commodities handled are fuel, iron, coal and containers. And here, Vizhinjam, if you look at the total growth, the container growth, a compounded average annual growth rate is 15%, which is in relation to the GDP of the country. And the overall cargo growth is around 9%. And hereafter, my discussions would be basically predominantly on containers because Vizhinjam is being designed predominantly as a container terminal. And what is containerization? I think most of you would be knowing that it's a cargo moved in a particular type of steel box, and these are built to standard dimensions. The containers which you normally see are of the size or of length 20 feet and 40 feet. And 20 feet length one container is expressed as 1 TEU, which is called 1 20-foot equivalent unit. And if you look at the container trade in India, we have much behind the developed countries. We have only containerized only 22% when compared to the 80% global standard. And non-major ports are rising to contribute significantly towards the future container traffic. And if you look at the top 3 container ports, they are the JNPT, the Jawaharlal Port Trust in Mumbai, Mundra and Chennai. They account for 75% of the total container volume in the country. And the ports in South India like Chennai, Cochin and Tuticorin account for 30% of the total volumes. And the containers handled in 2015-16, the major ports have handled 8.2 million TEUs and non-major ports 3.7, which by 2017 it's expected to be around 13 million TEUs. So it's growing in a rapid pace. And what is transshipment? Transshipment is nothing but shipment of goods from one destination to another by using a hub port. And this is an integral part of the logistic strategy of many shipping companies, because with the ship sizes becoming larger and larger, it cannot be accommodated at all the ports in the country. So you need to identify one particular port where such large depths are available, so that the mother vessels or the big container vessels can go there, unload the cargo there, and then the small vessels will go there and pick it up and deliver to other ports or other destinations. So this is the concept of transshipment. So what are the attributes for transshipment ports? So you need a lot of feeder services, high frequency feeder services running between the transshipment port and the feeder ports. Feeder ports, I would say Chennai, Cochin, Kollam, New Mangalore or Goa, or any port can become a feeder port if the depths are not that large to bring in very large vessels. And these transshipment hubs should be strategically located, accessible to many destinations by road as well as rail, and the port and terminal services should be very effective and service oriented, and all modern high-tech infrastructure should be in place. And some of the transshipment ports can be seen here. If you see, these are predominantly transshipment ports. If you look at Singapore, 90% is transshipment. In fact, Singapore thrives by the port as well as the Shanghai airport. So it's basically a transshipment country or country. So, and if you look at Dubai, 50% is transshipment. And these are the transshipment, some of the very important transshipment terminals. Hong Kong again does 30% transshipment, and they have gateway traffic which is about 70%. And now, coming to Vizhinjam International Seaport, why you want a port here? And why this port acts as a differentiator? So, some of the key factors which drive the need for establishing a transshipment port at Vizhinjam, it is because basically due to the transshipment market. See, India's transshipment is currently done at the ports of Colombo, Singapore and Dubai. That means they snatch away our foreign exchange. And we lose considerably in terms of foreign exchange. And then I will come to these slides in detail. An increase in sizes, ship sizes and containerization. Containerization, I said earlier, we are only 22% and the world standard is around 80%. So we have a long way to go. That means a lot of containerization, container handling, container ports should come in the country. And proximity to international shipping routes. Again, I will come to those slides. And we have, at Vizhinjam, we have a natural draft or a water depth of 20 meters within a nautical mile. And nowhere in the country you have such order of water depths. You take any port, there is no such water depth available at very near the shore. And another technical parameter is the littoral movement. It is the sand movement along the shores which result in a lot of maintenance dredging for the ports once you build a port. And it is quite insignificant at this location because of the strategic location of the port and the geography and the physical oceanography of the area. Coming to the business potential, this is planned mainly for transshipment terminals. Why? Because 90% of the Indian transshipment volumes are being handled, as I said earlier, by Colombo, Dubai, Salalah and Singapore. Why? Because large vessels can come only at these ports, and our ports, because of shallow water depths, cannot accommodate very large vessels. and the ship sizes are increasing due to economies of scale. The voyage cost of ship also increases with the size of vessels. So a large vessel cannot go to any normal port. They need to have the proper adequate water depths and the adequate infrastructure to handle the cargo there. And on top of it, the transshipment ports have to be along the international shipping routes, predominantly carrying most of the world's cargo. And if you look at Colombo port alone, 60% of the containers handled at Colombo belong to India. That means mother ships come to Colombo, they unload the cargo there, and then the small vessels pick it up from Colombo and deliver it to our ports like Vallarpadam, Cochin, or Chennai, or Mumbai, or Mangalore, and so on. So which means there is double handling or triple handling as a result of this extra feeder services and extra loading and unloading at the foreign ports. A lot of foreign exchange is lost. And the Planning Commission Government of India has estimated that the losses of the order of 1,500 crores every year. And again, coming back, the strategic location, Vizhinjam. Vizhinjam is only 10 nautical miles from the international shipyard. That is a very great advantage. And this international shipping route, which hugs Vizhinjam or Colombo, it carries 30% of the world's cargo. And Colombo has also the same advantages of Vizhinjam, but there are other geopolitical risks. And if you look at Vizhinjam, it has got a large access to the hinterland in South India. It's like a funnel shape, and we are at the tip of the southernmost part of India. So we have a very good hinterland, though it may overlap with Tuticorin as well as Cochin ports. And it's centrally located, I would say it's centrally located along the coast of India. And it's ideal for hub and spoke arrangement. That means as a transshipment, you can have a lot of feeder vessels, efficient feeder vessels running to other ports. And on top of it, it's a greenfield location. You can have any number of permutations and combinations to plan and design the port. And again, coming to the shipping route, you can see there are two international shipping routes. One is the Middle East Far East route and the Suez Canal route, which runs very close to the southernmost tip of India, which hugs Vallarpadam, Cochin, Vizhinjam, Colombo, and all these ports. Again, this is a very close-up shot. So you can see Vizhinjam is just hardly 10 nautical miles, whereas Tuticorin is 190 nautical miles, Colombo is 28 nautical miles, sorry, Tuticorin is 100 nautical miles, Hambantota is again 110 nautical miles. So they the Hambantota, Vizhinjam, Inayam, and all have the same advantages in terms of distance from the international shipping route. And again, coming to the operating costs, as I said, to take care of the economies of scale, ships sizes are increasing. Now, when we conceived the port in 1994, the ship sizes were of the order of 8,000. Now, today, this Vizhinjam port is designed to cater to 18,000 TEU vessels. That means 18,000 boxes which could be carried in one single vessel can very easily be brought in at this port. But just 2 days back, the Chinese shipping company OOCL has launched a much bigger vessel which can take in 21,500 TEU containers. But fortunately, we have designed our breakwater, the berths to handle this cargo for 24,000 TEU vessels. That means we have planned to take care of the future. And if you look at the gateway, this is a very important slide because, as I said earlier, if you drop a box here at Vizhinjam, we would be able to deliver that box anywhere in South India within a period of 2 days. Whereas if such a box is dropped at Colombo, Singapore, or Dubai, it may take a week's time for a vessel to pick it up from that lower port and bring it over to the nearest port or in the country. And from there, you have to depend on rail or road service to take you to the destination. So in that way, the transshipment can shift from Colombo or Singapore or Dubai if mother vessels, very large vessels could be accommodated at Vizhinjam. And a lot of studies and investigations have done so far. Perhaps this might be the only port which would have been handled by all the top international consultants in the country. And we had for transaction advisory all the leading consultants, including World Bank, IFC, Government of Kerala, even in fact my company, Vizhinjam International Seaport, which is the implementing agency for Government of India. We are also equipped to handle all the transaction services for such a big project. And we have a lot of other consultants also played a very large role. I'm not going to all these details. The National Institute of Ocean Technology, Fugro, the Drury Consultants in London, Jayakumar in Germany, L&T Ramboll, Royal Asconi of UK, ACOM of US, L&T Ramboll, Ace Consulting, BMT London, then we have a lot of legal consultants, RITES and RVNL, which are the government arms to support us with the railway connectivity, then water and power by the local government. Besides several studies, a lot of consultants, so many people are still in the picture to help us in this very big project. And now coming to the master plan, I think you have seen in the animation. This is the port master plan, and you see this the big wall like this is called a breakwater, which is of a length 3.1 kilometers, which is a really very complex task, which is under construction now. Because nowhere in the country such a breakwater in such a water depth of 18 to 20 meters has been constructed. So we are facing a lot of challenges and complexities with regard to the construction of breakwaters due to the logistics problem, getting stones, environmental issues, other local issues, and availability of stones and things like that. So we are looking at alternate arrangements to bring in stones from Tamil Nadu and Kollam using the ports there, modifying the smaller ports at that location to bring in stones by barges and dump with bottom opening barges and dump it along the alignment of the breakwaters to form this breakwater. And this is the berth you see, which can accommodate the largest vessel. Currently in phase 1, we will have a breakwater for a length of 800 meters, which can accommodate 2 very large mother vessels. These mother vessels, which can carry 21,500 TEUs or boxes of containers, will be of length 400 meters and the width of 60 meters. So this has to be, and the water depth, the channel or the water depth at this inside is of the order of 18.4 meters to accommodate such large vessels. And this, if you see the location, we have an existing fishing harbour here. And this new port comes 300 meters north of the existing fishing harbour, which the gap between the existing fishing harbour and the new port is going to be a new port, which is again for the local fishermen here, which will be again a project of the government. And these are the key project components. We have, as mentioned, it's a 3.1 kilometer long breakwater. The container berth will be 800 meters, and the design vessel, though it's designed for 18, it's designed for 24,000. This is what is shown here is only 18,000 TEUs. And in phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4 will not be supported by Government of Kerala. We are supporting only the phase 1 of the project. And external infrastructure, power and water, government is doing it. And the road connectivity, if you look at the road connectivity, we have the port will be connected by a 2-kilometer road to the new National Highway 66, which is being built by the National Highway Authority, and for which the land is given by us, and the concessionaire is building the road up to the National Highway. And rail connectivity, again, we are it's 12 kilometers long rail line, which is planned between the port to Balrampuram station. And off late, we are planning to have a tunnel for most of the stretches. So out of the 12 kilometers, 7.2 kilometers will be tunnel based. and the rest will be on an elevated structure. So the project report is ready, and we are waiting for the approval of Southern Railway, or the railways. And once completed, we will be going ahead with the land acquisition and things like that. And so these are the management entities in the picture. The Government of Kerala implementing through Vizhinjam International Seaport, which is Vizhinjam. And we have Government of India also supporting the project in terms of providing viability gap funding, which is 20% of the total project cost. And through our company, through Government of Kerala, we have signed a concession agreement with Adani Vizhinjam Port Private Limited. And we have given the project in a very good hand, and they are going ahead on schedule, and the time of completion of the project is 2019 December. And there are so many agencies, contractors, consultants working in this project day and night for the successful completion. And these are the project management areas which are involved. I'm not going to dwell upon this. And this is a project structure which we have adopted. This is a state government investment. Out of this 7,700 crores project, 67% of the cost is invested by Government of Kerala, and only 33% is being invested by Adani, because looking at the economic returns and the viability of the project. And Vizhinjam is the implementing agency, and the Vizhinjam has awarded the concession to Adani, and the lenders support the project by providing funds, and the end users will be the shipping lines and shipping agents. And the development model, we have followed a model adopted by Government of India Planning Commission to get viability gap funding from the Government of India. So we have taken the public-private partnership component for dredging and reclamation, berths and superstructure, and the state would be doing or investing for the breakwater and the fishing arm. And the viability gap funding comes in equal amounts, 20% from state and 20% from central. And we have signed a concession agreement, and the concession period is for 40 years with scope for future expansion, and to give another 20 years is also provided. A provision is made in the concession agreement upon capacity augmentation. And for the selection of concessionaire, we have adopted a transparent bid process, and through which we have signed the concession agreement in 2015, and the expected date of commencement of operation will be 4th December 2019 as per contract. The total project cost is 7,700 crores, the split of which is shown here. And the cost of land, the land acquisition is by the Government of Kerala, and the external infrastructure, rehabilitation of resettlement, the compensation to the fishermen who have lost their livelihood and houses have been compensated and for other consultancy, legal and other administrative expenses put together, we are spending 1,215 crores. And the revenue share from this project is formulated in such a way that we expect, or the concessionaire would be sharing 1% of the gross revenue from the 15th year upon commencement of the project. That means from the 19th year onwards, the revenue share will come at the rate of 1% in the first year, which increases to 2%, and like that it goes on with a cap of 40%. And for 360 acres is the total area required for the port in the first phase, out of which 230 acres have been acquired and handed over, transferred to Adani Vizhinjam Port Private Limited, and 130 acres is obtained by reclamation, because we need to do some capital dredging to increase the water depth in the channel. So that sand or material, dredged material, is used to reclaim, which is of the order of 7 million cubic meters. And with regard to environmental matters, this has again affected the project quite a lot. And this project has gone up to the Supreme Court and the National Green Tribunal, because of the various cases filed by various NGOs and activists. And finally, we have succeeded in getting all the clearances and all approvals from the Government of India. And of late, the National Green Tribunal have cleared the project with the condition that they have appointed a 7-member expert committee to monitor the environmental impacts as a result of the construction 20 kilometers on either side of the port during the construction and during the operation of the port. So that process is on. So we are carrying out monthly observations, daily observations, and doing all sorts of analysis to provide information and inputs to the National Green Tribunal. And a lot of welfare measures are also being undertaken by our company and government. And apart from the new fishing harbour which we are constructing, water supply is being provided to the local community. The modernization of the existing fishing harbour, a new international level seafood park is being planned at that area to support the local fishermen, and many other activities are proposed. And Adani is also joining us in providing a lot of welfare measures through their CSR activities. These are some of the shots showing the progress of construction work. And this is the site where the area has been reclaimed. And this is the second photograph below is the start of the breakwater construction. And these are the dredging works in progress. Two very powerful dredgers have been deployed to dredge and reclaim the whole area. And this is again the shot of the breakwater taken from the land area. You can see the breakwater advancing, and it has reached a length of 600 meters out of the 3.1 kilometers long. And this is a jacket platform used to do geotechnical exploration of the seabed to design the foundation for the breakwater and things like that. So with this, I would like to conclude the session on this project, and I would like to take questions if time permits. Thank you so much.
So if you see Kochi Metro also, we are having a water metro project. So why don't we see the transportation of our goods through this, so it is more cheaper also?
Yeah, your first answer to your first question. This National Highway Authority of India is supporting the project by providing the connectivity. But though the connectivity is provided by the concessionaire, the land is acquired by the Government of Kerala. The junction design, taking this approach road onto the National Highway, the National Highway Authority is supporting, and the NH66 and NH47. And along with the new outer growth corridor and growth corridor coming and all will support the project in a large way. And coming again to the second question of inland waterways supporting. Right now the inland waterways are not in a what you call it, in an operational manner. And that too the inland waterways stops at Kovalam, near Kovalam. So it may be difficult to take it beyond Kovalam, but however, as and when the project is developed, I think there can be multimodal logistics that could be planned in such a way that some of the cargo, gateway cargo could be brought to the inland waterways, then transported through the inland waterways network.
I'm sure we have a few more questions to ask, sir. However, we are running just a moment.